here are 5 stupid things I've noticed about nostalgia. Remember the old background? God, that was great. It makes the past look better than it actually was. A teacher of mine once defined nostalgia as remembering things the way they never were. In principle, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Nostalgia can help us to feel connected to the past and to the people and places familiar to us there. However, I would argue that, practically speaking, nostalgia often is a bad thing, at least when indulged to excess. As long as you're gazing over your shoulder at the gauzy, romantic days gone by, you're not paying enough attention to what's right next to you and what's up ahead of you. But I'll talk about the present and the future in a minute. For now, let's maintain that dreamy gaze over the shoulder. Nostalgia has lots of ways of cocking up the past for us too. It enables us to avoid difficult truths. The past is a place we've all been, but to which we can never return. That inaccessibility, combined with the natural tendency many of us have to romanticize the past, makes whitewashing our history, both as individuals and collectively as communities and societies, seductively simple. Troubled by unsettling facts from your nation's past, genocide, oppression of minority groups, institutionalized slavery? Well, who's to say those things were all that bad anyway? After all, at least during slavery, the black community had full employment, right? History is a challenging enough field already. If our wish to think well of the past compels us to ignore or apologize for the times when our ancestors weren't such great people, then history ceases to become challenging and just becomes useless. We can't learn from that which we refuse to face. It distorts our perception of the present. Those same rose-colored glasses that make the past seem so warm and inviting also tend to make the here and now look kind of shitty by comparison. This is the good old days syndrome, the flip side of nostalgia. Boy, things sure ain't the way they used to be, are they? I don't know what the hell happened to this country. How many of us have rolled our eyes at hearing a member of our parents' or grandparents' generation say something like that? The bitch of it is, many of us will eventually be saying such things too, or at least thinking them. Hell, maybe some of you already do. It's a strange concept, the good old days. It's relative. My grandmother's disappointing now will someday be my wonderful, irretrievable used to be. So maybe I should just pay attention to it now, since it's going to be so great. It impedes cultural change and creativity. Nostalgia's influence on popular culture is especially pernicious. We're practically all suckers for it, a fact of which movie studio executives, TV network programmers, music producers, fashion designers, and others who aspire to propel the zeitgeist are all keenly aware. They show us what we've already seen, remakes of TV shows and movies we remember fondly from when we were kids, retro styles, because anything new is a risk. And risks are risky. That's why we call them risks and not Candylands. The result is art and entertainment that, at least in the mainstream, tends to be safe, derivative, repetitive, and dull. It distracts us from looking toward the future. It's not the used to be or the here and now, but the yet to come to which nostalgia does the most egregious disservice. Look, I have nothing against romance. I'm not some severe, coldly logical, emotionally bereft automaton. But the more energy we put into idealizing and sentimentalizing the past, the less energy we have to make the most of the present. And the more we ignore the present, the less prepared we will be for what lies ahead. There's nothing wrong with taking the occasional fond look back, as long as we remember that we can't stop and we can't go back. All we can do is keep walking forward. You know, one day we're going to look back on this and we're going to ask ourselves, where did all the time go? I'm even going to miss that truck that just drove by. Oh well. Anyway, the hardest part is only picking 5. Catch you next time.